So, we're going to talk about having difficult conversations. A difficult conversation is exactly what it sounds like. It's a conversation or topic that we find hard to talk about. We tend to avoid difficult conversations because they're awkward, they're very uncomfortable, and we fear confrontation. We're worried about being disliked, we're worried about the other person's reaction. We avoid or delay difficult conversations because we don't want to hurt relationships or create negative outcomes. So, some examples of difficult conversations are turning down an employee's idea, encouraging an employee to improve their performance, resolving conflict between team members, terminating a position, asking for a raise or promotion, or a team member asking for a raise or promotion, reporting bad behavior like abuse or sexual harassment, giving negative feedback, reestablishing or establishing boundaries, and admitting a big mistake. Difficult conversations are a skill and they definitely require practice. Most people are not good at them. Holding difficult conversations may be overwhelming, and in my experience, there are 3 reasons why people don't like to have these conversations. 1, there's a fear of conflict and they never develop the skills to handle them or to overcome the fear. They think it's unkind and they don't prioritize them. Considering each on its own merits and based on how it helps you to bring your strengths as a leader and a communicator to life, these things need to happen. So to do them effectively, you must listen well, be patient, act with kindness, hone self-awareness, and be direct and clear, and have emotional courage, and sometimes even remove emotion out of the conversation. So be careful what story you tell yourself beforehand. We all make up stories in our head. It's human nature. Be careful casting the person in the role of a villain before you actually talk to them. Otherwise, you can make everything they do seem villain-like. Search for common ground. We always want to get the facts right. What are the facts? What are the assumptions we're making? And how does this problem make you feel? How might the other person see the situation? What might their intentions have been? And how have you each contributed to the problem? Personal responsibility is always so powerful. And as a leader, we always want to make sure that we're taking that. Think about your objective. What is the key problem? What is the impact? What other actions could you take instead of this conversation? What do you want to achieve by the end of the conversation, and what part will you take ownership of? Be clear about the purpose of the conversation and don't start with a long wind-up. Get straight to the point. Don't let the person walk around wondering what the issue is. Why are you holding the difficult conversation? What are you looking to connect and correct on? What are you trying to create space for and for others to share grievances? Are you trying to inspire or influence change? Are you trying to make room for an unspoken dynamic to come to the surface? And what do you want to get out of the conversation? Where you're uncertain or uncomfortable, start off by acknowledging that you may get this wrong. In a difficult conversation, we may not get it right, and that has to be okay. We have to be prepared to acknowledge and apologize for our mistakes when others call out what we've gotten wrong. Listen more than you talk. Once you state your point, take a step back and do some listening. If you let someone explain their position, it will take a lot of heat out of the conversation. Plus, your perspective could be wrong. Get information, ask questions. Remember, one of the most basic human needs is to be heard and understood. The temptation to react will be intense. Instead of reacting, pause, listen, and pause again. Ask questions for clarity and understand. Pause one more time. Really take in the message beneath the language and tone. Repeatedly connect back to your values. Explicitly tie your comments to what matters to your organization and to what you believe and to what you stand for. And what will you do to affirm those values in action even more than in words? Expect an emotional response. Most people don't like to be confronted, so most of the time people will get sad or mad, and that's okay. You have to learn to expect that and deal with your anxiety about it. Detach yourself from the outcome. Don't get attached to keeping the employee at all costs or making it your goal to get rid of somebody. Don't become a rescuer. Your job is to deliver the message clearly, hold them accountable consistently, and then they are completely free to choose how they respond.